So this week I had a conversation with the varsity coach as well with an athletic director about the advantages of playing 3-on-3 in the youth program. And this is something I feel really strongly about. I advocated for it in our program, and thankfully I have a wonderful coach on the girls' side who also agreed that the 3-on-3 was a good format, so we together kind of presented it. And 4 or 5 years ago, we changed from 5-on-5 to 3-on-3, and I think it's been a tremendous change for us. But in talking with the athletic director and with the varsity coach from this other program, they wanted to know why would we switch over? Why not just play in that traditional 5-on-5? So I thought I would share those ideas and why the things that I presented as strengths for going 3-on-3. The first thing that I'm all about, especially at the youth level, is getting as many kids involved as possible, and that means having a lot of fun. And how do you have more fun? You have more fun by getting to play, by getting touches on the ball, by getting a chance to shoot and dribble and do all those things. And in a 3-on-3, you're offering a lot more than that. I've seen stats come out that have said kids get 150 more percent touches, 150% more touches on the ball. And I haven't statted it out a ton, but I have kind of kept track of smaller games. And I do think it's true that the kids get more touches on the ball, and it's more fun that way than a traditional 5-on-5. In my experience, having coached at the youth level and then having watched it with my own kids growing up, is if you're one of the better players, then you get tons of reps in 5-on-5. If your coach is one of those coaches that wants to set ball screens all day, the best kid is going to get all the ball screens. But I think that that's actually detrimental to a program, and it's detrimental because you want to have a chance for all the kids to get better. You don't just want to have one kid or two kids get better. When you're in 3-on-3, there's such a chance for everybody to be able to touch the ball and to get better, and that means that there's more fun. That's the first thing that we're looking for. They're having a good time. So it increased our numbers in our program, and it's been a positive thing. Second thing is player development. That kind of goes with what I said. We don't want one or two players developed. We want to have multiple players developed. And you don't know at the youth level who's going to grow, who's going to mature, who's going to become one of those athletes, one of those people who really loves the game, versus one of those kids who's just playing it because, it's kind of fun. Their friends play it, but eventually they'll kind of fall off the wayside. It's just not their thing anymore. Or you have a parent that really stresses another sport. Their first sport might be baseball, and that's where they're going to put their time. Or it might be football, and it's not necessarily basketball driven. Well, if you can create more skill development in your youth, then those kids are going to want to play the game more. And I think that's a huge advantage to having fun as well, is making sure that we're developing skill. The third reason is you have more kids playing at the same time. In a traditional 5-on-5 game, you have 10 kids out on the floor playing. You have one basketball. When you go to the 3-on-3 kind of model, if you use both courts, both ends of the court, so you're just using one court, you have 12 kids on the floor at a time, and you have two basketballs going. So that means a lot more touches, a lot more action. So a lot more dribbling, a lot more shooting, a lot more defense, a lot more passing. All of that stuff happens way more. So those three things alone are reasons that I like the 3-on-3 model better than I like the 5-on-5. Now, jumping ahead to my practices and how I do things when I coach at the college level, now that I coach at the varsity, at the high school level, I do things a lot of 3-on-3. I think you can rep things more, you can do them faster, you can do them more intensely with 3-on-3. And of course, you put in 4-on-4 and you put on 5-on-5. That makes perfect sense because the game's played 5-on-5. But when you're installing a certain concept or a certain action, you want that to be repped as many times as possible. And how do you get that rep? You get those reps more often in 3-on-3 than you would if you put all 10 players out there and ran 5-on-5. It's a lot of standing for some players and playing for others if it's a 5-on-5 model. 3-on-3, not a whole lot of standing for anybody because you're involved in almost every action, either on the offensive or the defensive end, every single time. It also allows for more ball handling and shooting and driving, and you can be exploited a lot more. If you can't play defense, it's going to show in a 3-on-3. 5-on-5, you sometimes can get away with being out of position because somebody's going to help you out. So we use 3-on-3 a ton in our practices, and it's a really positive thing for us because we can keep practices competitive, we can keep them fast-paced, we can keep kids and players engaged, and those are all things that make our varsity practices better, and I think that translates over into our games when we get to go 5-on-5. So Those are the main reasons right there, Coach, that I am a huge advocate of the 3-on-3. I think it's a little bit easier to sell now than probably it was a few years ago, because you've got like the Big 3 basketball tournament. You've got 3-on-3 being played in the Olympics. Of course, there's been 3-on-3 around a lot longer than that, but it hasn't been as mainstream as it is right now. So getting your youth involved, I think, is going to help them have a better time with 3-on-3. It's going to get them more reps, which means better player development. It's going to get more kids on the court at once, 12 instead of 10, 2 basketballs instead of 1. And then if you move it on up into your middle school, your high school levels, you're going to just be able to use advanced concepts and rep things out so players get more used to, they get a better feel for a certain action, whether it's a defensive or an offensive action. You're going to be able to get those players ready to do that in a game in a much quicker way than if you were to try to do it, say, in just a basic drill or in trying to get it through 5-on-5. So there you go, Coach. Please leave your comments below, whether you're seeing this at coachmattdennis.com and the blog, or if you're seeing it on one of the social media sites. I'd love to hear your thoughts on why you use 3-on-3 or maybe why you don't. Just let me know what you think. All right. Talk to you later, Coach.